Hello everyone and welcome to AEW Discussion. I'm your host and AEW enthusiast Dougie Doug. In today's episode I'm going to be discussing Dynamite, January 10th, 2024 edition, a special edition of Dynamite that was the homecoming episode. AEW made its return to Jacksonville, Florida, Daly's Place, and with that we'll go ahead and get right into the action, starting with Hangman Page versus Castol, and the match was a great, energetic way to kick off the show, and the crowd responded in kind. If there was one negative, it was Castol. That is not a loss. He's one of the more talented wrestlers in the world and one of the more gifted technicians on the roster. He has the look and feel of a world champion with the talent to back it up, but is defined by little more than being a good wrestler like he was in WWE. He would benefit from a singles push that is about him rather than just tagging along with the BCC. Now, does he fit into the current world title picture? Unfortunately not. Singles push would be good for cardio, but what title would he chase? It's not the world title. I don't think it'd be the TNT title. I don't think it's the international title either. So it's like, if you give him a singles push, where does that lead? Where does that go? And it doesn't seem like there's an answer, which is probably why there isn't a push at the moment. AEW World Champion Samo Joe made an appearance, cut in a promo. Swerve Strickland, Hangman Page, and Hook all called their shot. Samo Joe versus Hook next week for the AEW World Championship. And there's not much to the segment itself, but it continued to plant the seeds for a potential Revolution main event featuring Strickland, Paige, and Joe, and set the stage for the showdown next week between Joe and Hook. Sometimes simple was best, and that was certainly the case here. On a separate note, there's such intensity surrounding Paige and Strickland that, despite two high-profile pay-per-view matches already, it feels like there's going to be one more showdown between these two, and by the looks of things at the moment, fans seem invested in interest in that contest. Now, I will admit, I'm curious to see how you would top Texas Deathmatch, but because that one seemed like a feud ender, but I guess we'll see how that one plays out. A triple threat match for the world title is certainly interesting too. You get these three guys in here too. Who do you pick to win? Swerve Strickland's on a bit of a hot streak right now. He's one of the hotter wrestlers in AEW. So I would think it would come down between Joe and Strickland. So do you stick with the current champion at the expense of one of the hotter wrestlers, or do you ride the hot hand and go with Strickland and cut Joe's title reign short? Kind of a lose-lose situation here, but you can kind of minimize the damage by good booking. So we'll see how that one plays out. And I like Hook getting a world title match here. He's a good in-ring competitor, and I'm glad to see AEW's kind of putting some trust in him with this opportunity here. So in conclusion, there were some things to like about the show. The homecoming tag was appropriate, as was highlighting a couple stars in Preston Vance and MJ, who are so closely linked to the late great Brody Lee, who left a mark on AEW and its company during the pandemic stint at Daly's Place. Continuing to tease a potential three-way match between Hangman Page, Swerve Strickland, and Samo Joe was also well done, as those three have history and are some of the hottest singles competitors in the company. The randomness of some of the matches, though, was interesting. Adam Cole came out, got a promo that was basically the same one from a week ago, but neither of those things did enough to impact the overall quality of the broadcast. The Young Bucks return, and apparently are inserting themselves into Sting's retirement match, which, if that is the case, that is certainly a choice. Maybe there's a story that can be told to try to justify it if that is the case, but it just doesn't feel right. A star as stature as Sting has so many different directions he could go with a retirement match, and throwing the Bucks in there, that it just doesn't, at the moment, it doesn't feel right, and I don't think it works. So, solid show overall, but the ending was it was a miss. Now there's a way to redeem it, but as of right now, calling it right now, it's a miss. And with that will conclude this episode of AEW Discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below.